He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by man, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering. Like one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Isaiah 53. My friends, Jesus came as a homeless man, on purpose, as part of God's great and perfect design. It was the reason that there was no room in the inn, and that his manger was amongst the animals. It's why soon after his birth, his family had to flee to Egypt. When Jesus came to Peter and said, "Come, follow me, and I will make you a fisher of men," basically he was saying, "Peter, come follow me, and you will be homeless." He had to tell his disciples, "In my Father's house there are many mansions," because they were homeless. He had to remind them, "Do not worry about your life, or what you will drink, or what you will eat, or what you will wear," because they were homeless. At one point, the Pharisees and the teachers came to Jesus and asked, "Why don't your disciples wash their hands before they eat?" Well, let me ask you, how did these Pharisees and teachers even know that their hands were unwashed? I mean, if you look at my hands, you probably couldn't tell. But the disciples, their hands were so dirty because they were homeless. Jesus said, "Blessed is he whoever shall not be offended in me," meaning that in order to be healed, in order to be blessed by Jesus, you had to get past his outer appearance. You had to get past what you physically saw in order to understand that he was truly the Son of God. So why is this important? Why did Jesus come as a homeless man, do his ministry as a homeless man, train the disciples to be homeless men? Why was that important? Why was this part of God's perfect plan? Well, let's look at Isaiah 58. Isaiah 58 says, "Is not this the kind of fasting I have chosen? To loosen the chains of the injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke. Is it not to share your food with the hungry and provide to the poor wanderer," otherwise homeless person, "with shelter? When you see the naked, clothe them, and not turn away from your own flesh and blood." And then in the New Testament, in Matthew 25, it talks about the sheep and the goats. It says, "Then the king will say to those on the right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came and visited me.' And then the righteous will answer him, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?' And then the king will reply, 'I tell you the truth, whatever you did for one of these, the least of the brothers of mine, you did for me.' Then he will say to those on the left, 'Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me.' They also will answer, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or needing clothes, or sick, or in prison, and did not help you?' He will reply, 'I tell you the truth, whatever you did not do for one of these least of these, you did not do for me.' Then they will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life." This is so at the heart of this God's salvation plan through his Son, that you even see this emphasized in James 2:14, where James says, "Faith without deeds is dead." If you see someone that is hungry or without clothes, and you tell them be well fed and stay warm, but yet you don't do something about it yourself, your faith is dead. Okay? So I encourage you, the next time you see a homeless person, the next time you see someone that needs clothes, the next time you see someone that's asking for money for food, or even food itself, or needing help getting out of the elements, ask yourself, would you say no to Jesus? Would you say no to God? This is a form of worship to God. And as Jesus said, if you can't do this for the least of these, you're not doing it for me. And Christ is not in you. If you can get a hold of this concept, if you can turn your heart towards serving the poor, towards the hungry, towards the homeless, towards the people in prison, your faith will grow like you have never seen before. So take the challenge. Do what you can, even if you have to sell possessions, even if you have to tithe less to the church. Make sure you are doing what Matthew 25 says, and pursuing it with all your heart. And just watch and see what God does with you. Thank you.